Century Championship is sponsored by Golf NV. Locally owned, locally loved. Golf NV.
Welcome to the beautiful shores of Lake Tahoe from the back deck at Edgewood Tahoe. He's Mike Stephenson. I'm Alex Margulies. Welcome to our special edition of NSN Daily from our NSN mobile studio presented by Legends Bay Casino and Circa Sports. And Mike, man, this is the week we always circle. Every single year, it never gets old. It's kind of crazy for me to think this is the 10th year now that I've covered this event, and it never, ever gets old. I mean, you get the celebrities in sports, in entertainment. You're out here at beautiful Lake Tahoe. I mean, people have asked us, is your set a green screen? I mean, is this even real?
Fake.
I mean, it's just incredible, and we're so happy to be here all week. And we have got a ton of great content, interviews, features lined up for you this week.
Almost too much on day one,
yeah,
but
no
we
kidding.
have room for it, and so we're excited to bring it all to you right here on NSN Daily. And yeah, going back to when I was growing up in this region and coming to this event as a fan, and I just thought it was the greatest thing ever to be one of the spectators, and then lucky me getting to work in the profession of media and getting to cover this event. I tell you what, in terms of local media getting to cover something, I don't know if it gets better than the ACC when you're talking nationwide, because we literally have some of the biggest names that make it to our region, and they're very accessible, which we have found, which makes it so incredible. And of course we have this awesome backdrop.
All right, let's give you a little bit of a rundown of what we got on the show today. We've got a ton of guests that are come by right here to our mobile studio, including Brian Baumgartner from The Office. Kevin from The Office is here. He has become one of the most popular players out on the golf course. You also got a chance to talk to Jerome Bettis, the bus.
The bus stopped by the studio.
Always great to see the bus.
He was incredibly charismatic, and he had just ran through a bunch of interviews before us, so we just really appreciate him taking some time. We will have the bus also. The Miz. Year 2, WWE superstar. He'll be sitting right between us in mere moments. Maybe even some more, but we don't want to spoil it all.
Well,
now,
yeah, and I'm glad the Miz put his clothes back on by the team.
That's a deep tease right there.
You'll see some of the video we're talking about later. He came out in his wrestling attire, which is
that's his trademark.
Not very much. So that's just a taste of what we've got. A lot's coming up. Joe Pavelski is going to be on the show as well, the former star of the San Jose Sharks and currently a star of the Dallas Stars. But I know, Mike, you got down on the driving range, had a chance to catch up with a lot of these guys and everybody. This is an event. We circle this to cover it as media, but this is an event everybody absolutely loves being a part of. Well,
I've heard from various athletes over the years that they'll be at their games and they'll, when they meet in the middle of the field after a game or post-game handshakes, they'll talk about Tahoe. During their seasons, they'll be like, man, I'll see you in a few months in Tahoe. And Steph Curry once said when his season is over, one of the first things he thinks about is coming out here to Lake Tahoe. So as you said, we did spend some time at Wednesday's practice round talking to a handful of players, including a first-timer in World Series champion Dexter Fowler, who had to reflect on what we got going up here in the north side of the state. He is a Las Vegas resident.
So far? I live in Vegas, but it's beautiful out here. I mean, we don't really have any water down there, but no, I mean, you can't beat this.
I don't know if I'm going to trek up here during the winter time, but a lot of people from Hawaii, all my life growing up, people would always come to Tahoe. It was definitely a destination place until I got invited, by American Century and NBC Sports to come and play. I'd never been to Tahoe, so when I get that invite every year, I'm excited for this week because it is a beautiful place.
My family and I, this is one of our favorite vacations of the year. Love to come out here to Lake Tahoe, and we always get beautiful weather, beautiful scenery. We love to take advantage of the lake if we can, get time to go out there and just kind of relax, unwind, and just enjoy the whole experience.
I'm guessing you can't imagine this thing taking place anywhere else.
No. This is one of a kind. This is like the Masters taking place at Augusta National. That's what our,
So there we had 2 World Series champions. We had a Super Bowl champion and, of course, the star of General Hospital in Jack Wagner, a 2-time champion here out at the ACC. So a lot of this is about enjoying the lake, of course, the region, and each other. But then for a handful of individuals, Alex, it's about playing some good golf.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And there are a lot of people that come to this tournament maybe to have fun. They come hang out, hit the casinos a little bit, enjoy the water. There are a lot of people that come here and they want to win this thing. They want the bragging rights of winning the American Century Championship. Well, how about a couple of contenders and a couple past champions? We had to get into a little bit of a roundtable inside the Edgewood Clubhouse earlier today, including the multi-champion Tony Romo. Here's my questions with them. Tony, first, I mean, as you've won this thing a couple of times, I mean, is there a memory in particular that kind of stands out about being here in Tahoe?
I think last year stands out quite a bit just because I'd mentioned it after, I was fortunate enough to win. But I got 3 boys who are 11, 9, and 5, and just their faces as you're coming down the stretch and watching them, and then their excitement, and then not being able to watch, and I'm watching them not be able to watch before I go make a putt or have to make a putt, and so it's the emotion of it, and them come running out. I mean, that's like second to none. So that, it's always hard to beat the first win, it feels like, but I think that one did.
For Annika, this obviously is a very different golf tournament than what you're used to playing in. So what is your favorite thing about playing in this particular tournament, this style?
Well, I love the fact that, people from all different walks of life are playing and enjoying this game together on such a high level. These 3 guys here and a few more out there, they are very serious contenders. And it's so impressive to see that they're so good inside the ropes when they are, when they leave this place, they're either behind a camera or they're throwing a football or they, throwing a basketball. And just, I think that is so impressive. And, I love being part of this. And, Vinny said, we picked the players' brains. I'm not going to let you pick my brain anymore, or you, because you guys have now beaten me. So now I am done sharing my experiences and my knowledge. So that's my tip for the week. But no, it's just fun. It is, once we get inside the ropes, I think it was said here already, we are competitive. And you want to play well, but once you leave and between the shots and so for a little bit, it's more giggle, having fun, and sharing stories. I've actually yesterday had some great chat with Kyle and Zach, both basketball players, and just to listen to how they approach the game and what they're thinking, just listening from their perspective, not so much about golf, but just what they go through. And to me, I enjoy those and listen to their stories.
We're definitely all trying to just pick her brain.
Yeah,
okay, so how do you do this?
She was sick of me asking her so many questions a couple years ago. So. She was like, stop asking so many questions.
Let's see. I was like, how do I chip this? Because I had never get up and down.
I should get a commission on what you guys are doing.
And then I chip it on 17 close. I was like, thanks, Annika. She's like, you're welcome, I think.
All right, pretty fun catching up with that group. And Annika, a resident of Incline Village here for part of the year. So she's very familiar with this beautiful Lake Tahoe scenery. But, of course, one of the biggest stars out there on the golf course every single year is the multiple NBA champion Steph Curry, and he had a big crowd following him today.
As he always does. And, yeah, you heard Annika with a little competitive fire because she certainly wants to get this thing done. I can tell you Steph Curry really wants to hoist that trophy come Sunday afternoon as well. He has come relatively close. He's always in the mix, but then kind of fizzles away. As you heard from those previous contenders, they're always kind of putting themselves toward the top of the leaderboard. But yes, we did have a chance to also connect with one Wardell Stephen Curry inside the Edgewood press room, and I had a nice little back and forth exchange with number 30, starting with that epic shot he hit at last year's tournament.
Really quick ones. First of all, that one you hit on 13 last year, 97 yards out, splashed it in. Would you say that is the greatest golf shot you've ever hit? And also, would you admit how many times you've watched that video?
It's 1B to my only hole in one. So, but obviously 1B just because it was in a tournament and it was out here, and I just love this place and the reaction I got from the crowd. I watched it probably 40 times that day, and I've probably watched it that many times since. So, yeah, the people all my guys, my dad, brother, everybody who's staying at the condo with us, they're probably sick of hearing the highlight, the volume and the commentary just because how many times I watched it. But again, it's an out-of-body experience on that one.
That's a great clip to have in your arsenal. If you could pluck a power from any of your fellow competitors, who would you want to steal an attribute from? I've asked a lot of people this. A lot have said your jump shot.
Marty Fish is on golf?
I'm saying actually in respective professions, yeah. So would you want, Alfonso Ribeiro's dance moves or something like that?
Oh, I want to answer it in golf terms. I want Marty Fish's tempo, just because I just love watching him swing. Okay. Thanks, man. Oh, he's right there. Look at that. That was not planned at all. That was not planned at all. It's the sweetest tempo I've ever seen, big fella. I don't know. We're close in that respect, but I still just love watching him play. Mahomes' just creativity. Just the way he sees the game. I feel like everything's in slow motion. He'd probably say the same about me, but I love watching him play.
If I was to be asked that question, I'd say I'll take your bank account, but that's all right. I don't get that option. So.
That's fair.
Last one. If it's not going to be you, who would you like to see get this thing done come Sunday afternoon?
Wardell Stephen Curry the first. Dell Curry.
Okay.
I'd like to see we call him the originator. I'd like to see him get it done. Sorry, Marty.
If you don't mind. I did want to ask you one quick more because we had your pops for Media Day via Zoom. He did mention the car ride you guys take over, and that's when the bet is determined. Curious what the bet is. But I did ask him about both Caleb and Cody Martin, two guys that we covered down in Reno for the University of Nevada, Carolina guys. Of course, Pops was with them in Charlotte. Caleb just played in the finals. If you cross paths with those guys, what do you think about their respective games if you know much about them?
I've played against both of them. They're amazing athletes. They have the toughness and the grit to them. Obviously, you know, the ability to make it in this league, especially at the wing position, is extremely difficult, and you have to kind of have that toughness and know-how, and yeah, I'm sure they've come a long way from when y'all covered them back in college. So, what was the first question? I forgot.
Well, I guess, do you have the bet in place at this point?
Oh yeah, we're still working on massaging out the handicaps, in the sense I spot both of them points. I think right now the soft agreement is I'm giving my dad 12 points total and my brother 45. So I got to play well.
Yeah, man.
I got to play well.
Hey, good luck to you, and we always appreciate you doing this because we know you don't have to, so thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Obviously, always great having Steph. I remember his first year I was here as a fan, and nobody really cared about him because he had only played 1 year in the NBA. Look at him now.
Absolutely, and we'll see if he can make some noise on the leaderboard this year. All right, lots to come still from our special coverage here at Edgewood. Next, we're going to talk with Joe Pavelski, the longtime NHL star. You've got a conversation with Jerome Bettis. Jam-packed action coming up from the back deck here at Edgewood. Stay tuned for more coverage of our special edition of NSN Daily presented by Golf NV right after this.
Coverage of the American Century Championship is sponsored by Golf NV. Locally owned, locally loved. Golf NV.
Back from the beautiful shores of Lake Tahoe and State Line, Nevada, our coverage of the American Century Championship rolls on. Back here from our Legends Bay Casino sponsored desk and Circus Sports. He's Joe Pavelski. I'm Alex Margulies. Joe, welcome back to Lake Tahoe, man. How good is it? We're just looking back at the view. I mean, it is a stunning summer this year.
It's looked awesome. Obviously, we heard about the snowfall, and you know, the course looks tremendous coming out of it. And I mean, the community here, the town's there's a lot of excitement. You can feel it, you know, just being around the area. And we've had a couple awesome days so far since we've been here, and the weekend looks like it should be just beautiful.
All right, so obviously you spent a long time with the San Jose Sharks, now with the Dallas Stars. And when you come back here, I imagine you just have a ton of people following you around, and through that time in San Jose, I imagine it's kind of a special moment for you. It's kind of even reconnecting with some of those folks you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it is. That was always one thing I was really surprised about, is how many Sharks fans made it up here, and it'll always be a special place, you know, for me and my family. And our time in San Jose we had so many great moments and memories together. So it's fun to see the fans. It's fun to hear them talk about some of them, and wish we were still wearing a teal jersey. But we've found a good spot in Dallas, and enjoyed the last 4 years there, and looking forward to one more going back, and we'll see what happens from there.
All right, we'll talk about some golf in a second, but I understand you went to check out the new Tahoe Event Center across the street. They're going to be putting an ECHL hockey team there starting in 2024. That was unveiled earlier this week. How cool is it to kind of step foot in there and to see that professional hockey is coming to Lake Tahoe?
It was awesome. We saw the headlines, you know, last week, and then to go in there, we drove by it enough, and you know, as it was being built a little bit last year, and then going in there, I was super impressed at that stadium that's going to be in there, and what a great size. I think a great feel it's going to have for an East Coast game, and it's going to be a facility that's going to get a lot of use, I think. And I remember playing in facilities, and there's certain ones that you kind of have that feel going into it, and you look up, it feels like the fans are going to be on you. There's some nice suites around it. It was fun to get in there and shoot a puck in the net, and you know, kind of see what it's going to be like.
Could you imagine, playing in the ECHL and you get to actually go to Tahoe as a stop? I mean, as minor league hockey, I imagine it doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
Well, it's been interesting, and coming up here, I think the boys will definitely make a nice trip out of it and have a good night or two. And I don't know how many teams are in the area and how, if you're flying or busing in. So I'm sure there'll be a few good nights, some fun games. And it's interesting how the game is in the American League, with the Sharks having the Barracuda in San Jose and Edmonton's teams, in California. There's a lot of that hockey's been coming out here. So it'll be interesting, how it keeps developing.
All right, let's talk to you about your golf game last year here at the ACC. You found yourself in a three-way tie, went into a playoff, and right there at the wire. I mean, you seem to be in the mix of this thing every single year. Did you take anything away from that experience that you can kind of put forward towards this year? I imagine that's kind of left a burning fire in your belly a little bit.
Yeah, you get that close, you definitely would like to come out on top. I think I've been in here right around 7 years now, and there's a couple of years where you're knocking on the door, so the chances don't come every year. But if you're in contention, I think I play hockey and try to get my golf game as good as I can and trust the things that you're doing out there. But just you still got to go and hit shots and score a little bit out there. And it was an awesome experience coming in that playoff and standing up there knowing everyone's watching and just kind of being like, I got to hit this shot. I got to get it out there. Got to get it in position, and it's just such a different feeling than what we're used to, and I definitely really enjoyed it.
We were talking in the media room with Tony Romo. You guys are obviously both in Texas, longtime Cowboy in Romo, and you're now at the Stars. I mean, take us inside kind of your guys' games when the cameras aren't around and just being able to play, and I imagine the competitiveness is pretty high between you two.
It's pretty good, but you've usually a lot of, we had a 5-some out there, and Tony and I and a couple other guys, and there's a few characters in that group that like to stir it up and keep it fun. There's a little money involved. There's a couple drinks involved usually, and those guys are playing a lot, and when I can find some time during the season, get out there, I really look forward to those days.
Joe, we appreciate you, man. Have a great week here in Tahoe, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Joe Pavelski, NHL star, joining us here on NSN Daily. We'll be right back with more from our coverage, sponsored by Golf NV, right after this.
The American Century Championship is sponsored by Golf NV. Locally owned, locally loved. Golf NV.
Welcome back to beautiful Edgewood in the American Century Championship. Mike Stephenson here, joined by Jerome Bettis. The bus has rolled up to the NSN mobile desk, sponsored by Legends Bay Casino and the Circus Sportsbook. Jerome, bunch of years up here, man. What keeps you coming back?
You know what? It's the competitiveness, the competition, the guys, this incredible venue, the area, the weather. It means so many things that keeps me coming back. It's just a little slice of heaven every time that we get a chance to come back.
You were telling me over the years, the kids, as they were growing up, would come with you. The wife would come with you. But over the years, they've gotten older. The wife has said, hey, why don't you just go on your own? So this is a solo trip now?
It's a solo trip now. As the kids gotten older, their priorities changed. and so now it's all about, hey, Dad, go out, have a good time. We'll be watching you, but that's about all the support I get.
They'll see you on TV, as they do a lot.
Yeah.
You've become a staple at this thing. Who are some of the guys you love running into every year?
You know what? I love running into all the guys. This is an opportunity really to see a lot of the guys you don't get necessarily a chance to see, but also, developing new relationships and meeting different guys. I got a chance to play a practice round with some baseball guys.
Fun, yeah.
Shane Victorino and Jason Worth and John Lester, and just getting a chance to meet guys that I otherwise would never run into, have an opportunity to develop those relationships. I think that's what's really neat about this event. You always see the guys that the football guys, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Marcus Allen, those guys, Marshall Falk, but to see some of the guys that you don't normally run into, that's what makes it fun.
Who do you like to root for when it comes down to Sunday, and who do you like this year, I guess?
You know what? I look at it very objectively. I kind of just look at who's on the score, who's on the leaderboard, you know, and then I try to figure out who am I rooting for. Like different years, I root for different guys. You know, the first year Romo won, I was rooting for Romo, and then you know I was rooting for Curry, and I'm rooting for different guys. And
we don't need any repeats, right?
Yeah. And so, but it's so many guys that are competitively good that it's fun to watch and see how it turns out.
The pressure of getting handed the rock in a packed stadium versus doing television versus hitting good golf shots in front of people. How do those all relate?
Yeah, I tell you what, the toughest is hitting good golf shots in front of people. I'm telling you. Now, you give me the ball on the 4-yard line and tell me to go score a touchdown, that's easy. I can do that. You know, you put a mic in front of me and, you know, you tell me to talk. Sometimes my wife tells me all the time I talk too much, so that's not a big issue. Yeah. But I tell you, hitting a shot 150 yards with, you know, 15,000 people screaming and yelling, I could get a little tough.
It's a little tough.
A little dicey.
Yeah, a little dicey. We were just talking to, 17 seasons out of the league now. I'm sure it's gone by pretty fast. But I know something, I think it was last year that you finished out your degree. Is that correct? The last couple years? Why was that important to you?
Well, it was important for me because I made a promise to my mom and dad when I left Notre Dame that I would come back and get my degree. That was partially part of it. But the other part was my kids. I have now an 18-year-old daughter, 16-year-old son, and I wanted them to see the importance that even after 28 years, 27 years, that I wanted to finish my degree, and it meant that much to me. And so I was very fortunate that they were paying attention, they were watching, and now my daughter is now enrolled, and she'll be a freshman at the University of Notre Dame in the fall. So it paid off in that they understood and saw it, and now they understand that it's important to them as well.
Well, how exciting. Congrats to her, and obviously a huge congrats to you for getting that thing done,
Thank
Mr. Buss. Tell me, outside of Edgewood, what has to happen every year when you come to Tahoe? Do you hit the tables? Do you hit the lake? What happens?
Well, I do hit the tables just a little bit.
Yeah,
you've got to help the economy.
Exactly.
You know, you help the economy.
South Lake appreciates you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got to make a CVS run or a Walgreens run. I got to make one of those runs. And then it's all about who's performing here. You know, you maybe want to catch one of the performances by one of the performers that's here usually on the weekend. So it's a great time. It's a great experience. And just so thankful that this event has become what it's become.
Yes.
And this area and the community have really gotten behind this event and supported it. And kudos and much thanks to everyone in this community.
Well, just recent news, American Century Investments, NBC Sports linking up for 6 more years. So this thing will be here through almost 2030. I'm sure you can't imagine this tournament taking place anywhere else.
No, I really couldn't, because I mean the backdrop is sensational, right? And it just makes for an incredible weekend, and for the players, this is a great opportunity for us to recharge our batteries, get with some friends, play some meaningful golf, and raise a lot of money for charity as well. So it's doing a lot of different things, and I couldn't think any place else to have it but here.
Obviously, I'm sure you have your eye on the Steelers a lot, but who are some of your favorite young players and some of the ones you like to run into out here? And just what do you think about the state of the league right now?
You know what? Jalen Hurts is a guy that's on my radar screen now. I mean, you know, obviously Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's the guy that you look at and you're like, wow, in amazement of all the things that he's accomplished and is still accomplishing. So you get a chance to see all these guys. Aaron Rodgers, of course. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with the Jets, right? And so it's you know, seeing all these guys, and obviously some of the guys were my contemporaries, some guys that I'm fans of now, some guys I was fans of when they played you know, a touch before me. So you get an opportunity to spend a lot of time and see all the guys.
Jerome, anything else you want to add for the people as we have you here along the shores of South Lake?
No, just so thankful and humbled by all the fans coming out supporting the event. Everywhere we go in town, it's always a smile, a cheer, a thank you for coming out. And I just want to say thank you all for all your support and dedication to this event.
Well, we can't thank you enough for sitting with us for a few minutes. Behind the scenes, you didn't see Jerome just ran through a couple of other interviews, but did take some time to sit with us before teeing off today. So we thank you so much, Jerome, and we hope you have an incredible week here at Edgewood.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we're back right after this on NSN Daily from the American Century Championship in South Lake Tahoe.
Coverage of the American Century Championship is sponsored by Golf NV. Locally owned, locally loved. Golf NV.
Here on NSN Daily, we just heard from Joe Pavelski and Jerome Bettis, two great athletes in their own right, but there are entertainers here as well, and we had one right between us earlier today. You probably know him as Kevin from The Office. Here's our chat with Brian Baumgartner.
All right, Brian Baumgartner joining us, better known as Kevin from The Office. That is your very, very famous role, and you are really just one of the fan favorites here at the American Century Championship. It's awesome to have you on the show, man. How great is it? I mean, look. You're back, man.
We're in paradise.
We're at work right now.
I can't complain about anything. Yeah, you're working, but with this view, I would take this spot in any office.
That's for dang sure.
Yeah.
So what? We're talking over 15 years now coming to Edgewood. What keeps you coming back, and why is this so special?
Dude, it's honestly, it's the people.
Yeah.
And by the people, I mean the people who work here at Edgewood, all of the folks at American Century, and the other players that I've gotten to know now over the last, over a decade. It's so fun for me to come back. I said I was going to go to bed early last night. Ended up 11 o'clock, which is relatively early.
Yeah,
I was going to go to bed.
That's taking it. That's pretty good for a Wednesday. Yeah.
I know. I was like, but what was I doing? And I realized, no joke, I did one lap around this room where everybody was, and it took 2 hours. So it's just about the relationships, about, last night, really the first night of the tournament, being able to see everybody for the first time.
Brian, I can imagine in terms of just the guys you're playing golf with, the friendships that you guys made. I mean, people always kind of say that this is like adult summer camp, right?
Yes.
And you go back and it's just, there's a special kind of camaraderie and bonds. How much do you enjoy just seeing those guys year after year and just the kind of the memories that you do get to create out here?
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I'll give you one example of many, but Larry the Cable Guy, I got to know here. I'm not a stand-up comedian. We'd never met before, but we met here. We started playing a lot of golf together. Spoiler alert, I think we're playing together on Friday morning.
All right.
Again. And it was just my relationship with him now the last 2 years. I don't have to do it. I want to do it. I've gone to Lincoln, Nebraska for his charity golf tournament in the summer, and it's really because of the relationship. It's like I want to hang out more. I want to help him. He's really become, a part of our Tahoe American Century extended family.
A friendship born at the ACC. We'd love to see it.
That's
Tell us about your history in the game of golf. Did you play when you were young? How serious do you take it? How much do you play?
I did not play when I was young. We were actually a tennis family. My dad never played. But when I graduated from college, actually, I was doing theater. So I was stuck inside in a dark room for all hours, and I needed some way to get out or I was going to go crazy. So I started playing golf and played casually at first, and then but within a couple of years I was totally hooked. So I love it. I love playing. I played sports as a kid, and it's a way to keep that competitive fire going, which again is one of the reasons here is so fun.
Yeah.
Seeing where you match up with other guys and year versus year and so forth.
Brian, could you ever have imagined in your wildest dreams that you said you're doing theater classes, right? And you, of course, catch on and have this amazing role in The Office for years and it becomes such a beloved character from that show that somebody would come up to you and say, hey, Brian, we want you to play in a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe. Guys like Steph Curry are going to be there. Michael Jordan's played there before. Jerry Rice is going to be there. I mean, could you ever have imagined that?
No. And I grew up, we were talking in Atlanta, Georgia, and so when I was leaving, really going to college, the Braves got really good. Yeah. And that was John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, and then, 1 year here on a practice round, it was me and John Smoltz and Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux, and it was like, this is like my childhood is going crazy. I'll tell you one other story. I guess the first year that Steph Curry was here, he came up to me on the putting green and said, "Hi, I just wanted to say to you, I'm a big fan of you."
He was starstruck.
I don't know if you know who I am, and I was like, "Yeah, I know Davidson."
Wait, hold on a second. Are you saying that Steph Curry was nervous? He was nervous to talk to you?
No, but we didn't know each other, and he had no expectation that I would know him. Yeah. And that's really, honestly, the reason I tell the story is it has nothing to do with me. It's like that's how everyone is here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Everyone is the same. And, this is before Steph Curry became Steph Curry, and he had the Davidson run, and I don't remember what year this was, but calm down over there, okay?
Easy, off camera.
Professional organization
Hey,
here.
local TV,
Actually,
baby.
No, it's like most of my jobs. Trust me. Yeah, it's that camaraderie. It's really special.
That was Nikki on the side, but we're gonna
No
throw
worries,
you under the
Nikki.
bus
She's
now.
getting some
Yeah,
photos.
it's okay.
I'm curious. We've heard Rainn Wilson talk a lot recently about spirituality and about his time on The Office,
Yes.
and when he watches it back, he's like, that feels like another person, another lifetime. I'm curious, when you watch it back, because it's on every single dang night now, what are those feelings?
Honestly, it's like thumbing through, assuming you had at least a somewhat positive high school or college experience, it's almost like thumbing through a yearbook.
Wow.
And going back and remembering, bringing you back to those times, things that maybe happened on a particular day while shooting a scene, or actually shooting the scene, something that happened, or it brings you back to the moments. And for me, it's really about the people and those relationships we had.
Brian, I know you've said in the past, I mean, we've seen you out there in some amazing pairings. I mean, we see you out there with Aaron Rodgers sometimes. We see you out there with the comedian sometimes. Who are some of your favorite guys to play with? I know that's hard because you've been out here for years and you don't want to maybe single some guys out, but if you had like a dream pairing out here, like what's the most fun group that you've been a part of?
I don't even know if I have a dream pairing anymore, because every time, I think, I want to play with these guys all the time, I get paired with somebody, like a fairly recent friend here. I don't remember what year he started coming or that we got paired together, but Mike Vrabel, the coach of the Tennessee Titans. Yep. And I got paired with him, and he's just an awesome guy. And partly now, like, unless they're playing against a specific team of mine, I'm always rooting for the Titans now because of my relationship with him. I'm rooting for him. Yeah. So it's, I would say, these people, but then I might play with someone. I'm playing with someone new, I think, on Friday that I just met last night, new to the tournament, and I don't know, maybe he'll be a part of it next year.
Okay, we told you 5 minutes. I think we've blown through that, so we appreciate your graciousness. Can we just quickly get a prediction for Sunday? Who's going to raise that trophy?
Wow, here we go.
Ooh, I don't know. I was going to say very definitively a name, and then I heard of a potential minor tweak injury this morning.
Now, we want to be careful. The odds makers are listening.
I know. I just heard. I don't know.
You can't tease us like that, Brian. Come on. We've got fantasy teams that we've got filled out for this thing.
I don't know.
Who's it going to be then?
I don't know. Yeah. I know that's such a weenie. Yeah,
I
had an answer. I don't have an answer right at the moment.
One last question before we let you go. I know you love coming up to Tahoe, but I've heard you also enjoy spending time in Reno as well and just kind of getting to check out the entire area. I guess talk about your experience just being able to kind of enjoy this entire region.
Yeah, I love coming here. Coming here for so many years, I would never miss it. I also have a relationship with the Carano family and the El Dorado Hotel, and enjoy going up there for various events as well. So no, I love coming up here as much as I can, and I'm not too far away, so I feel lucky about that.
Great to see you, man. Thanks for coming.
All right, thanks so much.
Good time, sir.
Thank you.
All right, absolutely loved getting a chance to hang out with Brian. He has been on our bucket list for a couple of years, and looking forward to see what he can do the rest of the weekends. All right, coming up next here on NSN Daily, The Miz, the WWE superstar, drops by NSN Daily, and thankfully, Mike, fully clothed. That'll make a little bit more sense to you when you see some of the video of The Miz just down the beach earlier today. That's coming up here as NSN Daily continues from Edgewood, Tahoe.
Coverage of the American Century Championship is sponsored by Golf NV. Locally owned, locally loved. Golf NV.
All right, welcome back here to the American Century Championship from the back deck at Edgewood, our mobile studio brought to you by Legends Bay Casino and Circus Sports. Mike The Miz joining us, WWE superstar. Mike, we had you out there in 17 last year during Media Day, and I'm sure you remember this, but we got you that video you sinking the ship from the sand. That might have been your best moment of the whole week last year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it sucks that the best moment of my entire week was a media day, not during the actual tournament. No one's there. They're setting up all the stuff, and literally the only people that were there were the workers setting all the stuff up. And I'm like, oh, great, I get 5 people clapping for me when I could have had thousands. I could have had thousands.
We have video. Last year was your first year. What was the experience like? Obviously good enough to bring you back.
Not only, I mean, it's the one thing I've been looking forward to all year
since
long.
You left, right?
I mean, American Century puts on an A+ event. Like, it is great for the live crowd. There's like thousands of people here. There's so much to do, so much to see, so many cool celebrities. These aren't like your celebrities in Hollywood where you walk up and they're looking to see who's more famous in the room. It's like these are like actual really nice, genuine people, and everyone loves golf. And so you all have something in common. You all have something to talk about. It's very competitive. I didn't realize, like, coming in here, I was like, oh, everyone's having fun, everyone's a good time. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God, everyone's really good. Like, everyone's like scratch golfers here.
I mean, these are actually good golfers.
There's some talent.
These aren't just celebrities like playing golf. These are actually like good golfers.
Yeah. And I was like, I was not prepared for this. Not only was I not prepared for how good everyone was, but I was not prepared for the live audience in when you walk up and you hear your name announced and you put your tee down and you can't, your hand's shaking so much.
Like you top one, there's a lot of people that are going to be booing.
Yeah, I didn't top one. Thank you.
No,
I didn't top one.
Tried to imply something there.
I take that back.
Don't even put that in my head. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to ruin my game before we even start?
That was not cool. All right. We kind of buried the lead here because maybe an hour ago you were out here chipping and
full uniform.
You're obviously very comfortable in this type of outfit. You're just hanging out in a Speedo, chipping out there.
It's not a Speedo. It's my gear.
Okay,
it's like gear. My wrestling gear. It's what I wrestle in.
So,
and we thought it would be
a fun. Explain what you were wearing.
It was so we were doing a little fun kind of collab for social media. I had my golf club and I had my gear on, like what I wrestle in gear, which is basically, yes, sort of like a Speedo, but I like to call them trunks. So I had my trunks on, I had my kick pads on, and I was trying to chip into a cup.
Didn't happen though.
Well,
how close to
the problem is the sand is not like it's not the sand that we chip.
It wasn't regulation balls,
and those balls were not regulation. They were like
it kind of sets you up for that.
They were rubber balls, so they were really tiny. So it's like getting out of sand, rubber balls, getting into a small tiny cup. It's probably not going to happen, but you know, if I got a crowd, I'll try it.
The journey to get to this position where you're sitting here as the Miz now at the American Century Championship, and we first got to know you, 20 years ago on The Real World. How do you summarize just the journey to getting to this point?
It's crazy. I pinch myself all the time because I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would ever be on The Real World, let alone be a WWE superstar, let alone be the first ever two-time Grand Slam champion in the history of WWE. It's surreal. And then to be out here with such incredible athletes, people that I've idolized. I mean, Charles Barkley, I had his jersey.
Unreal.
I used to love him on the Phoenix Suns. I wasn't a big Philadelphia 76ers. I was more him with the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, Dan Marley, Charles Barkley.
You remember those like Jordan Barkley kind of duels?
Oh yeah,
they're still doing if you ask certain people. No comment. Who do you look forward to seeing the most out here every year?
Obviously Charles. Charles is so much fun to be around. I got to golf with him last year and I had a blast. I love talking to the Larry Cahill guy.
Yeah, he's great.
He's absolutely fantastic. Miles Teller's amazing. And I kind of want to see who's going to be on top this year. Adam Thielen came out of nowhere last year, did very, very well, and he is focused and he seems like he's ready to go. So Tony Romo might have a little competition in his.
We had Pavelski on earlier too as well, and I remember at media day last year, you actually asked Chuck about his confidence level, and you were like, I feel like I can win this thing, and his response, if you remember, was, I don't drink that much.
Yeah.
Where's your confidence level now in terms of your game, and how much have you worked on it?
When I first came here in media day, I said I'm going to win the whole thing, right? And I think I got like 80th place last year.
That's all right.
So I just want to do better than I did last year.
That's the move.
That is my goal, and to beat Pat McAfee. And I think I'll be happy if I do those two things.
That works.
All right, so you mentioned Barkley, so it's going to be you guys. So for those of you watching here on our Thursday show, Friday morning, 10 a.m., final group going out, and it's going to be Chuck, Charles Barkley, yourself,
really?
And Andre Iguodala.
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, they're out.
This is my group.
The pairings are out.
This is Friday.
That is your group tomorrow.
This is a good group. Now,
hey.
I will say this, and don't tell anyone. All right, we'll keep it between all of us.
Yep.
Last year, Chuck was not angry at me, but he was like, "You are the slowest player I've ever played in my entire life." Like, you thought Patrick Cantley was slow. Like, I was like, and I didn't realize I was that slow. But in my head, I would stand over the ball and I would go through everything that I needed to do, and then I would swing, and people would videotape me. And it was like 45 seconds, and I didn't think that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So now, literally, I walk up and I just shoot. I don't think about anything. There is no brain when I'm golfing, the brain is just thrown out.
Instead, it's Chuck in your head now.
Yeah, now all I hear is Chuck being like, "Will you hurry up?"
Come on, man.
I'm like, "Sorry, Chuck."
Will you even like talk? Are you comfortable even like getting in?
You kidding me? I'm gonna be all over him. Look, the first 15 holes, Barkley is untouchable.
Yeah.
I honestly think he is fantastic. He's a very good golfer. 16, 17, 18. Someone gets a little tired. There's a little elevation here.
Yeah.
And but I heard Chuck has been trimming up. He's been getting in shape for this. So
he wants that top 70.
He wants that top 70. I imagine he's going to put a lot of money on it. I wouldn't put money on myself, but I mean, if I do win, it's 2,500 to 1. So I mean, that's you put $1 on me.
Hey, you're on the board.
$2,500.
No reason not to, right?
Right? Why not?
Such a pleasure having you here. Does anything else have to happen in Edgewood or in Tahoe outside of the tournament when you come now? Do you jump in the lake?
I do not. I hadn't. I don't think I've ever jumped in the lake. Don't you have to jump in the lake? Didn't we have a bet or something? Didn't we have a bet or something where you had to jump in the lake? You should definitely jump in the lake.
You did.
Last year at 17, I would jump in the lake. You want to go with me?
No, I don't. Not a chance.
You have to do
it. In this
though.
outfit, I'm wearing white pants. I'm wearing white pants and no underwear. I'm just kidding. I'm wearing underwear. By the way, all the cameramen looked up from the cameras and went, "Wait, what?"
Put the trunks, but you have the trunks on hand. We just saw you in the trunks.
Yeah, you can jump in those.
I'm not putting my wrestling gear. Actually, they do need to be washed, so maybe that's a good place to wash them.
If you do not go in the lake by the end of this weekend, you're missing out. It's a soul cleanse, man. Like you will really just.
It really is. It's a rite of passage out here.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Year 2, you got.
I'll tell you what. If I get a hole in one on 17, I'm in the lake.
You better be.
I'm in the lake. I'm jumping in.
All right.
He's Mike the Miz.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys. No need for luck when you're this good.
All right. See you guys later. All right. Coming up, more NSN Daily coverage from the American Century Championship. Thanks to our friends from Golf NV. We'll be right back.
Coverage of the American Century Championship is sponsored by Golf NV. Locally owned, locally loved. Golf NV.
Is it more nerve-wracking doing stand-up comedy, trying to get laughs, or hitting good golf shots in front of a bunch of people?
Hitting good golf shots. Comedy, man, that's fun. I love stand-up. I can go up and perform in front of thousands of people, not bat an eye. This is crazy, but it's fun, You just got to, if I had more confidence, that's what a lot of life is, confidence.
I'm not hitting as far as I did 33 years ago. And so for me, it's just a question to be able to manage the game, enjoy the competition, and have some fun. Last year was, I guess, my first real tackling of my mortality as far as I hit the golf ball. It just don't go as far.
Why is it important for you to be here?
Because, obviously I love to play. I love to be part of this event, and they've asked me to play, and trying to show them, the ladies play too. And so, I'm super competitive. I enjoy playing with these guys. They're super nice, and I like to give them a little run for the money.
And I believe Annika gives them a run for the money and takes the money this year, Alex. She has knocked on the door for a handful of years. I'm saying Annika, the Incline resident, gets it done in 23.
I mean, she's the greatest female golfer of all time.
Yep.
And I know a lot of the guys are picking her. I mean, even Vinny Del Negro and Tony Romo said they were going to put their bet on her. I think I'll go Joe Pavelski. I mean, he was right there in the playoff last year. He's been there so consistently near the end, so we will see how it goes. Back here tomorrow, John Elway, one of our confirmed guests. We can't wait to take you tomorrow. See you then.